Angelfish, often found in the warm seas and coral reefs, are among the most brightly colored fish of the ocean. Brilliant colors and stripes form amazing patterns on their body. These patterns actually help the fish to hide from danger among roots and plants. At night, when these fish become inactive, their colors may become pale. Often, the young ones are differently colored than the adults. Some scientists believe that the color difference between the young and the old indicates their different social positions. Another interesting fact about angelfish is that they have an occupation in the fish world. Most of them act as cleaners for other fish and pick dead tissue from their bodies. This is not their food, though. Their diet consists mainly of sponge and algae. One particular kind of angelfish, the blackspot angelfish, has a special capability that allows it to change gender from female to male. However, the change is not made at random, it happens for a specific reason. Angelfish live in groups, and each group has one male fish, which is blue in color, and 4 female fish, which are yellow. The male angelfish is the strongest and largest member of the group. He is the one who protects and looks after the females. When the male dies, the group needs a new security guard. This is when the largest female in the group begins to change in appearance. She begins to grow larger in size, and after a week, she starts changing color, from yellow to blue. Slowly, her behavior toward the other fish also changes. She begins behaving like a male. 2 weeks later, black stripes appear on her body, indicating the gender change is complete. She is now completely male. Totem poles in North America are poles or posts carved with symbols or figures by Aboriginal peoples of the Northwest Coast. Carved from large, straight trees and painted vibrant colors, the totem poles are not just unique works of art. The coastal peoples have long passed on knowledge from generation to generation through oral traditions, and totem poles were the traditional way of telling the story of an individual family or clan. The totem pole can be grouped into specific categories, depending on its location and the occasion for which it was carved. Welcome poles were traditionally placed on village beachfronts to greet visitors arriving by canoe. Inside the homes of high-ranking chiefs is where house poles were found. The family's history was carefully carved into each pole. Placed along the rear or front walls of a house, house poles also helped to support the main beam of the roof. Memorial poles stood in front of a house. They were erected in memory of a deceased chief or a high-ranking clan member. The poles depicted the person's accomplishments or family history. Mortuary poles were also raised to honor the dead, but they differed from memorial poles, having a burial box placed at the top of the pole. Inside the burial box were the remains of the deceased. While many of these poles can still be found in various locations on the west coast of North America, there is one pole that can now only be found in a museum, the shame pole. Traditionally, shame poles were carved for a chief to embarrass and ridicule another who had done something wrong. Once the wrong was made right, the pole was taken down. Totem poles are important expressions of specific Aboriginal cultures. Despite the threats posed by cultural and political encroachment of colonial forces, the art of totem pole carving has survived. Aboriginal carvers continue to carve totems as symbols of their cultural pride and clan kinship. Music has a tendency to get stuck in our heads. Sometimes a tune intrudes on our thoughts and then plays, and replays, in a never-ending loop. This interesting phenomenon becomes a subject explored by many scientists. They use a range of terms to describe it: stuck song syndrome, sticky music, cognitive itch, or most commonly earworm. Earworms can run around our heads for several minutes to numerous hours. As the melody repeats, it becomes embedded into our mind. Even though our ears do not hear the tune, our brain continues to play it. Earworms often take the form of song fragments rather than entire songs, and the song is usually a familiar one. Researchers are not sure why some songs are more likely to get stuck in our heads than others, but everyone has their own tunes. Often those songs have a simple, upbeat melody and catchy, repetitive lyrics, such as popular commercial jingles and slightly annoying radio hits. Recent or repeated exposure to a song or even a small part of a song can also trigger earworms, as can word associations, such as a phrase similar to the lyrics of a song. While earworms might be annoying, most people who experience them nevertheless report that they are pleasant or at least neutral. Only a third of people are disturbed by the song in their heads. How people cope with their earworms seems to depend on how they feel about them. Those who have positive feelings about their stuck songs prefer to just let them be, while those with negative feelings turn to more behavioral responses, which include coping strategies such as singing, talking, or even praying. Got a bug bite problem? Many people who are troubled by skin rashes caused by bug bites use foggers, or bug bombs, to get rid of the annoying crawlers in their homes. Many people think these bug killers or pesticides will penetrate every place where the insects hide. Actually, quite the opposite is true. Once the pests detect the chemical fog in the room, they'll hide themselves in walls or other hideaways, where you'll never be able to treat them effectively. Ohio State University researchers tested 3 commercially sold foggers in a study on the effect of foggers on bedbugs. After testing these brands on 5 different groups of live bedbugs for 2 hours, the scientists saw that the foggers had little if any effect on the insects. The researchers said bedbugs hide in cracks and crevices such as under sheets and mattresses, or deep in carpets where foggers won't reach. Moreover, bugs that do come in contact with the mist may be resistant to the pesticide. Foggers, or bug bombs, should really be a measure of last resort. First of all, the gases used in bug bombs are highly flammable and thus pose a serious risk of fire or explosion if the product is not used properly. Second, once a bug bomb is used, every surface in your home will be covered with the toxic pesticide. When you use a bug bomb, a chemical mixture rains down on your counters, furniture, floors, and walls, leaving behind oily and toxic substances. Your health might thus be endangered. Therefore, it is suggested that people leave the problem to the professionals.